Good evening, everyone present here and watching on TV. The August 19th, 2026 meeting of the City Council will now come to order at 6 p.m. Winnie, may we have roll call, please?
Jessica Ayers. Here. Nick Card.
Here.
Kevin Keating. Mike Kurlinger.
Here.
John Quinn.
Here.
Zach Smith. Kevin Stein.
Here.
And Garrett West. We have 6 present.
Okay, we have quorum. City manager reports.
Mayor and council, just a few updates from your city manager. First, earlier this month, we held a national night out, our great police department did. This is a national program that we have not been participating in, but we did our first one this year. We picked a great day. It was one of those days that it was 106 degrees outside, and we were not sure what kind of attendance we would get, but actually we got a nice attendance, and people showed up at the park. We got served hot dogs, playing cornhole, and did a variety of activities, and it was a fun event where members of our community can interact with our law enforcement people and enjoy that and be able to converse with them, share their concerns, and just having a good evening. So thank you for the police department for doing this and for getting out and policing in a manner that makes our citizens feel comfortable. The Rogue X facility continues to be a premier facility and continues to make improvements, and we have now added 4 new sand volleyball courts out at the Howard Memorial Sports Park next to the Rogue X facility. This is a lighted facility. This doubles the size of our sand volleyball capacity within the city. And like I said, it's just another example of the good things we're doing out at the Howard Memorial Sports Park to make this a premier sports venue in the valley. And we have lots of things available there, and we just continue to add to it. So thank you, Rich Rosenthal. Well done. Speaking of Rich Rosenthal and parks, we have a challenge out at Pear Blossom Park. And we have a Norway spruce out there that has traditionally been our Christmas tree that we light up. If you go out there today, it's gone. This 45-foot tree has not been surviving the difficult winter or the difficult summers we're having and the dry conditions. We also think there was probably a little bit of vandalism that helped contribute to that. But we had to remove the tree because it was a hazard. And so Parks is working on a plan on what to do now because we want to have the Christmas tree lighting ceremony there. So they're developing a variety of options, and you will be hearing more about this in the future. Hopefully we'll get something done here before this upcoming Christmas season, and we'll be able to light the tree as we have been doing the last several years. 2 weeks from tonight, you're going to have the opportunity to welcome the students from Italy, from Alba. And so we're participating in the student exchange again this year. This time it's the year for the young men and women from Alba to come to our city. They're going to get served a dinner, have a dessert following that. And then they're going to come to council chambers and share some comments with you, something that we've done in the past where they share their experiences and you'll be able to interact with them. So always a fun activity, and look forward to hearing from us students from Alba. City manager update is continuing to progress. Since we last talked to you, we ended up getting 39 applicants when we cut it off, and so we have screened those 39 applicants. The subcommittee, which includes 4 of you individuals, and myself and our HR director screened those applicants along with our consultant. We have narrowed that field down to 5, and this Friday we are conducting full interviews for those 5 applicants, and we will be hopefully paring that number down to 2 to 3 that will be brought back to the full council. Those final interviews will happen on September 1st and 2nd, where we'll have a formal meet and greet, and we'll have the public interact with the candidates. We'll have a lunch with the directors, and then on September 2nd, we'll have 3 different panels interview these candidates, with the last panel being the mayor and city council, to hopefully make a final selection. And that will be again on September 1st and 2nd. And lastly, just a reminder of some upcoming meetings we have next week. We are going to be talking about the remaining Council Community Initiative Fund monies. There's a couple of projects there that we still have to decide what to do with. We're also going to be sharing with you an after-action report, some observations staff have had by leading you and helping you with this exercise the last couple of years, and we have some suggestions that we'd like you to consider to continue to improve that process. Also next week, you'll be receiving a report from our planning department to talk about House Bill 4037. This House bill is regarding housing and trying to implement more housing and get more housing built in the valley, but it changes the land use process fairly dramatically, and we want to run those changes by you so you understand exactly what those changes mean and how it's going to impact applicants and get things done in the city. Then on September 2nd, we're going to have a series of reports and hopefully approve a contract for Main Street to get that project going and complete that restriping before the rains come. And that's everything, Mayor and Council, if you have any questions.
Thank you, John. Any questions? Thank you much. Oh, yes, one question.
Was the Alba dinner truly in Prescott Park?
That's what it says.
Okay.
So,
Are we carpooling?
we're going to have to figure that out. So I had
Okay.
the same question, Council President, and we will be getting you more information on what that looks like.
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, John. Moving on to agenda item 30, recognitions and community group reports. We're going to kick it off with Human Resources Director Bonnie Barish to recognize 3 employee anniversaries.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Bonnie Barish, your HR Director, and I have the privilege of recognizing some very long years of service for our employees. So I would like to start first with Adam Mueller. So Adam is a systems administrator, and we're recognizing him tonight for 20 years of service to the city of Medford. Adam was raised right here in Southern Oregon in the Tyler, Milo, and Days Creek area before heading to the OIT, where he earned dual degrees in computer hardware engineering and software engineering, because apparently one technology degree is just not enough. Before joining the city, Adam was an instructor at both Oregon Institute of Technology and Klamath Community College, and also worked for the Bureau of Land Management in Lakeview. In 2006, Adam joined the city as a PC technician on the service desk, and within just a year, he moved into a systems administrator position, where he spent much of his city career helping keep the technology going, which we are happy about, and we definitely rely on it to run smoothly. And as anyone who works in IT knows, sometimes the greatest measure of success by our standard is that we have absolutely no idea how much work it takes to do it, right? It's all behind the scenes. Outside of work, Adam has a pretty special passion, dog rescue, specifically Japanese chins. He serves as a board member, Oregon Representative Treasurer, and a Western States Regional Coordinator for the Japanese chin care and rescue efforts. So after spending his days taking care of the city's technology, he spends a good portion of his free time taking care of dogs, which may or may not be easier, I'm not sure. More recently, Adam has taken up backpacking, and after 20 years of keeping complicated systems up and running, maybe there's something really appealing about heading out to the woods, where the only systems you have to worry about is whether your tent stays up and your compass points in the right direction. So tonight, I would like to say thank you to Adam for the knowledge, dedication, and the service that you've given the city over the past 20 years, and for everything you continue to do both here and in the community. Please join me in congratulating Adam in 20 years of service to the city of Medford. Yeah. Thank you, Adam. Our next anniversary is for Ed Sturdivant, who has worked for us for 25 years, and not too long ago, he was one of our employees of the quarter. Ed joined the city in July of 2001, and he has spent his entire city career at the water reclamation facility. Over the years, he has worked in every major area of the facility, including maintenance, the lab, source control, and operations. So it's probably fair to say there isn't much about the water reclamation facility that Ed doesn't know. In 2007, Ed was promoted to Process Control Supervisor, the role he continues in today. Throughout his career, he has helped guide the facility through growth, operational improvements, and some pretty impressive accomplishments, including successfully removing nutrients at a facility that wasn't originally designed to do it. Ed's interest in wastewater treatment actually began years before he came to Medford. While working summers at the Binge treatment plant, an operator introduced him to the biological treatment process and showed him how microorganisms help clean water. And apparently Ed found microorganisms so fascinating that he thought, I could just build a career around this. And 25 years later, we're very glad he did. Today, Ed is helping lead the water reclamation facility into its next chapter, contributing to the construction and the operation of the city's new advanced treatment facility. It's a fitting next step for someone who has dedicated his career to protecting public health, the environment, and the Rogue River. Outside of work, Ed spends time with his family and grandchildren and their 3 dogs. He's also an avid outdoorsman and especially enjoys skiing, and although the 25 years at a wastewater facility treatment, I imagine spending time with fresh mountain snow might have a certain appeal. So please thank Ed. We want to say thank you for your knowledge, your leadership, your dedication to our city, and please join me in congratulating him for 25 years of service. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Ed. And last, but certainly not least, would be Bill Ford with 35 years of service. Incredible. So Bill joined the Medford Police Department on August 5th, 1991, and over the course of his career, he has taken on a number of specialized assignments. He was selected as a detective in 1996. He served on CERT, which what we call SWAT now, and also became a field training officer, helping prepare and mentor other officers along the way. And Bill's detective work hasn't exactly flown under the radar because his casework has been featured nationally on NBC, 48 Hours, and the Oxygen Network. So we have a star here. So while most city employees are perfectly happy to avoid national television, Bill apparently decided solving cases in Medford wasn't quite enough of an audience. Outside of work, Bill considers himself an amateur or possibly professional photographer, and I understand the exact classification may depend on who we ask. He also enjoys working in his yard, and he's currently perfecting his backyard oasis, which I can appreciate. When he is not working on the yard, you might find him smoking meats or preferably vacationing on a beach somewhere warm. Between the photography, smoked meats, barbecue oasis, or backyard oasis, and tropical vacation, Bill seems to have put quite a bit of thought in how to spend his time when he's not solving crimes. Bill is also known for having a great sense of humor, which I imagine has served him well as a detective and in his 35 years as a law enforcement professional. So Bill, thank you for your dedication, professionalism, your sense of humor, and for your many years you've spent serving our community and supporting your fellow officers. Please join me in congratulating Bill Ford on 35 years with the City of Medford. Do you want to say something?
Thank you very much, Bill.
Is Bill our longest-serving employee?
Not our longest-serving employee, but I think because we have one in law enforcement that's been here, you're the second longest, yeah. And they all know where they're at on the seniority.
I know at one point we used to have, like it was like a key or something
Yeah.
that they would hand to the longest serving employee, because I remember like Chief George had it, and then when he retired, he handed it
I
off
think
to the
we
next
still have
person.
that around. Our longest employee is Annette Trask, and she works in their world in the MPD.
Okay, cool.
Annette at MPD holds the key right now.
Thank you, Bill. Please join me. And that will conclude our employee recognition.
So, thanks, Bonnie. And by the way, thanks to the long-serving employees we have here. I'm going to maybe put you on the spot. You know, HR is a tricky business, and things change all the time. Do you have your least tenured employee here today?
No.
Yeah. So maybe just give a quick introduction. That would be.
Oh, yes. Michael Livingston, where are you at? Come on down. You're the next contestant. I think we might have somebody from today, but you got it?
At least tenured in the building?
So, Mayor and Council, it's my privilege to introduce Michael Livingston. We have had a nationwide search on for quite some time to select a new IT director, a key position in the city that keeps our IT systems, which we rely on so much. And Michael has roots in the Rogue Valley and was currently working for the city of Corvallis and agreed to come back. And so his first day was 2 days ago, and he's still coming back, so we're excited about that. And so welcome, Michael. And if you want to say anything to the council, here's your opportunity.
And don't feel compelled. We're not forcing you, but we
I have
just
no problem
certainly
talking.
wanted to get the introduction at least and welcome you here. So
Thank
go
you.
right ahead, though.
Yeah, I went to South Medford High School and I went to SOU. And then I spent a lot of years in the private sector and then started working 10 years ago for the city of Corvallis as their IT director, and then got to come back here and be the IT director for the city. So
Well,
I'm really
great.
excited to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. So
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you.
You got that experience right there. So there you go. Bonnie, thank you. Now we're ready for some community partner updates. First, Travel Medford Senior Vice President TJ Holmes is here to provide the quarterly update.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. My name is TJ Holmes. I'm the Senior Vice President at Travel Medford, and it's this week, 5 years ago, that I came and introduced myself in front of you, Mayor, and Councilor Stein when you guys were up on the dais. So it's been an honor to keep this momentum going. Tourism has an incredible momentum right now, and on behalf of the tourism industry, we're really excited about the future outlook of where we're going. Before I get into my Quarter 4 report, I do want to congratulate you all on selecting the CCIF Fund awardees. It's always a pleasure to watch you and congratulate you on supporting those community organizations through those funds, so thank you very much. For Quarter 4, we're talking about April, May, and June for 2026. Jumping right into the transient lodging tax revenue for these 3 months. This is the figures you see is Travel Medford's share, which is 25% of the overall TLT. And as usual, you have a full report right in front of you. My presentation is just a quick snapshot, but there's a lot more detail in that packet that the team is putting together. But a couple of quick highlights on the TLT for this quarter. April and June were both record months for those respected months. So a great start to going into our peak season. And then we wrapped up Quarter 4 with a record Q4, and that was about 10% over where we were at last year in TLT. Some of our main trends that we see for ADR, average daily rate, Occupancy, so ADR was a little bit down than it was last year. Usually when we have more supply coming on, it's kind of a race to kind of fix rates and adjust to be able to receive that demand. It's a competitive market out there with all the hotels that we have in our city. Occupancy was slightly down from last year as well. However, I will say that compared to last year, we did open a new hotel, so we have more hotel rooms available. So demand was actually up 2% over last year. So we still had more rooms being filled. Supply was up 7%, so occupancy was down just a little bit. TLT revenue, as I just mentioned, 10% up year over year, and intermediaries, our short-term rentals, continues to just climb and be on the rise of what we're trying to do. So it reached $100,000 mark and just Travel Medford share in that Q4 for the first time. Some key highlights on our marketing. For tourism promotion, our Expedia campaign, this is our direct booking campaign. That's a very, very popular campaign that we do with our hoteliers. We serve ads on Expedia through a lot of different sites, third-party sites, and we can tell if someone was served an ad, if they booked a hotel room directly within the Medford city limits, or even Airbnbs or short-term rentals. So this is one of our largest ad spends that we do every year. We spend over $100,000 specifically in Travel Medford, but that generated $2.1 million in gross room revenue for Medford lodging properties. So our return on ad spend was almost $20 for every $1 that we spent on gross revenue. Over 1,000 extra room nights than the same campaign did last year. We don't run this campaign in the summertime because it's peak season at the preference of the hoteliers. But so we saw about 10% increase in gross room revenue over the same campaign last year just by adjusting our creatives and targeting a lot better. So looking really good, and that's a campaign that we're going to continue to have going forward. Some of our press relations, this being April, May, and June, I mean, it's a great time of year. It's a beautiful time with our seasons that we have. So we hosted about 25 media during this quarter over a couple of different familiarization trips. And one of the best things that we're able to do during that time, I mean, we're showing them around, making sure they have a good time, really understand our region. But one of our key highlights that we got during this time was the Rogue Valley was named #1 wine region by USA Today's Reader's Choice Awards. So we were #2 last year. We increased from 2 to 1, and you can better believe that we're going to use that over the next year in our marketing to try and promote our wine region as a major destination selling point for our area.
Can I just ask real quick, what was #1 last year?
I believe it was like Solvang area and kind of like Santa Barbara area and that area down in California. I can double check that, but I believe that's close to being, I would say about 75% accurate on that. Savor Southern Oregon, talking about wine a little bit more. This was our second year that we hosted in June. We had it was a much more elevated experience this last year compared to year one. Year one's a little tough. You don't know what you don't know until you actually put it on, right? And so year two, we were able to improve in a lot of different ways. We had 50 of our 85 wineries participating from the Rogue Valley at this event. Around 1,000 people came through the doors, and all those different people represent 53 different zip codes and 13 states that visited just for Savor Southern Oregon at that time. So we look to continue this going forward, trying to add a culinary aspect of it a little bit more in addition to the wine with some more pairings for next year. So looks like it's an ongoing event that we'll be continuing to have. For event promotion, outside of sports, some of our key events outside sports in Q4 that Travel Medford specifically supported. Savor Southern Oregon, obviously, the Pear Blossom Festival, Art and Bloom, and Rogue Comic Con. Those are just a few of them. We had nearly 3,000 events that we promoted on our event calendar for free, just to promote all the different events in that one quarter throughout the Rogue Valley. And there were 17 events that occurred in Q4 that we financially supported in one way or another. So for the entire fiscal year, you can see the 4 areas and categories that we break down our events through our Community Partnership Grant Fund. We supported 43 events and to the tune of $188,000 just last fiscal year alone. So that accounts for about 11% of the TLT that we get through the lodging tax from you as the City of Medford. So that's more than double our minimum requirement to be able to support events going forward. So we continue to invest in events.
So, TJ, I'm just doing some math here. On your 3,000 events in the quarter, 2,999. So that is 2 events a day, if I did my math right. No. That's 32 events per day.
A lot of recurring events that happen.
I was gonna say, like, it's a little event inflation here. Sleepy Joe's inflating our events. So no, I was just curious because like that, my instinct around the community is like, I think we have a lot of stuff going on that people don't know. I just don't think we quite have 32 events actually happening here per day. And so I was kind of curious what that sort of included.
Yeah, and because Medford is the largest city in the Southern Oregon region, Rogue Valley, we do kind of carry the flag a little bit more on kind of the Rogue Valley and greater, kind of, we call it our influenced area, not necessarily Medford city limits. So we do allow some events in Phoenix and Talent and White City, Central Point, that goes on our event calendar because while we have a lot of great things in Medford, there's also a lot of things to do just outside the specific city limits. So we try and promote everything that we can do in the Rogue Valley. So we welcome a lot of events just in the Rogue Valley area to try and get on our event calendar, as we're trying to be the most robust event calendar in the valley.
You're not claiming that you're sponsoring or supporting or investing or whatever in 32 events per day. But if someone says, hey, we have an event, we want it on your calendar, and I send it to you. If I'm doing a trivia night at my bar, that can go on the calendar.
Correct.
That kind of stuff. Okay.
Yep. And it's a free promotional tool. We have specific requirements and criteria of what we allow on there, but most of the events that are submitted or that we actually actively seek out to put on our event calendar get on the event calendar. For sports tourism continues to be a main driver for us. During this time, we attended 2 trade shows, and we had about 40 one-on-one appointments with event directors and rights holders during that time in Texas and in Las Vegas for these trade shows. These are major trade shows, and we have 2 incredible world-class facilities that you in the city and Parks and Rec with Rich Rosenthal work so hard to be able to keep as our crown jewels and to keep in pristine condition to be able to try and attract these events. So that's a key driver for us. So that was a big time that we're still in communication to try and attract these events. We also launched and beta testing Your Sport Ground. That's our brand identity as a sports and recreation hub on the West Coast. A savings pass. So we communicated with 12 different restaurants in Medford to try and get special deals around 3 specific tournaments to try and get people from those tournaments. It was only available to those people and those tournaments and those teams to try and get out to the restaurants during that time as a beta testing to kind of see what we can learn and advance and expand on that going forward. Major events, again, sports being April, May, and June. This is the prime time of the year, especially with Lithium Driveway out there. Some of the key events that we had that we supported specifically, Rogue Memorial Challenge, the High School Girls Basketball Showcase, which you've heard at length too, that we partnered with Parks and Rec, Travel Medford, and Southern Oregon Sports Commission to kind of have a very quick pop-up put together event, but highly successful. That looks like that's going to be a retention event that's going to grow every year. Rogue Valley Rising Lacrosse had its second year. It doubled in the amount of teams that came, and hopefully next year is adding a girls element to double again in just 3 years. The Southern Oregon Open, that's the Mother's Day basketball tournament. It used to be the Singler Classic. Going Rogue High School Boys Volleyball is a tournament that we actually started at Travel Medford and the Sports Commission, had its second year. And then the Oregon Youth Soccer Association President's Cup was back in the Rogue Valley for the first time in 16 years. And we had that at the Lithium Driveway, and I believe 60 of the 64 teams were from out of town in that one too. So that was a key economic driver. So just the events that we specifically supported, to over 10,000 estimated room nights during that quarter. And I believe that's on the conservative side, as we always try and go a little bit low on that, just to not overextend ourselves as well. And for that,
the
I
Rogue
can answer any
Valley
questions.
Lacrosse League, what age group is that?
High school.
Those are all high school players?
I believe, yeah, there's a good amount of high school, and I believe that it kind of dips into middle school too, but I'd have to double check on that.
Is that going to happen again? What month is that?
I believe that's in June. It went from 24 teams year one to about 46, 48 this last year, and then the whole goal was to add a girls element to double that again next year, so hopefully we can get into the 90 team range for next year. So it's going to continue to grow. And again, we're not able to host tournaments like that and recruit events if we didn't have the pristine facilities that you guys have all invested in year after year after year.
Other questions? Yes, Garrett.
So I was up north for work, and I saw one of your ads, and I did get in my car and come to Medford. So they do work. They do work.
Thank you, Councilor West.
Other
Glad to see you
comments,
came
questions? Thanks, TJ. Oh, sorry.
How in the world can you put together something that says 2,999 and not find one event somewhere, somehow, and put it on there to make sure you have 3,000. I don't, how do you do that? That is incredible, intuitive design or whatever to be like, this is the right number and I'm not going to change it.
That's how very specific we are with our analytics and the tune and full transparency in what we do, Counselor Stein.
We're never rounding up, okay? We're never rounding up. We're never adding anything. We are providing accurate numbers.
Accurate
Love
information.
to hear it.
Thank you, TJ.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
Next up, we have representatives from La Clinica to provide an update on their organization.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name's Jeff Kuhl. I'm Development Director at La Clinica, and I'll let Ed introduce himself.
Ed Smith-Burns. I'm Partnership Director at La Clinica.
And we are here, well, first and foremost, we want to thank the council as well as the city in helping us develop a really important project. We're currently titling the Teaching Health Center project that is in development on the west side of Medford. This is going to be one of the largest projects that La Clinica has ever undertaken, and probably comparing it back to our founding in Phoenix, Oregon, when we completed our initial flagship clinic in 1995. This is a clinic that will host all of our workforce development projects and programs, and namely the Advanced Practitioner Residency Program, which is a year-long program that allows nurse practitioners as well as physician associates to complete a year's worth of coursework, didactic training, and ultimately mentorship from both our providers as well as providers around the community to get their feet wet in what actual practice looks like outside of their coursework that they recently completed through their nurse practitioner not residency, but their actual schooling or physician associate programs. This is a program that has recently received funding from the Rural Health Transformation grants from the state, around $6 million that we're able to expand specifically this program, as well as funding a new behavioral health fellowship that we're hosting all at right now the Phoenix Health Center. The reason, or one of the reasons that we need to build this new clinic is because we are somewhat constrained at the Phoenix Health Center. Currently, we have 6 providers going through this residency program, and we only are operating out of 4 patient rooms at the Phoenix Health Center, and not to mention we just added 2 behavioral health fellowship providers to the mix just this last month. So we are bursting at the seams at our current location. Why West Medford? We know that's a growth area, not only for the city, but also for Southern Oregon in general. Many of the folks who live in that area need easy access to healthcare. Many of these folks don't have adequate transportation or car use that they can use to get to their appointments elsewhere within the city and the county. So we really see this as a flagship medical center for West Medford once it's built. Tentatively, we are in the planning process of designing the facility, but if all shakes out, we would have this facility up and running by mid-2029. Is our best guess of when we could open this facility. So all of these workforce programs will be housed within this clinic. We estimate about 13,000 patients would receive care primarily through this clinic. So primary care access, dental care access, small pharmacy footprint within the building, as well as 1,500 behavioral health visits from that primary care point of view, because we embed our behavioral health care with our primary care that's provided. So this is a really important project, and again, we can't thank enough the city, the council for their support. Now that our project is now under tentatively the MIRA 2.0 footprint, so that's going to help us tremendously in the years to come in developing this site. And I want Ed to add some color to what I'm saying here.
Thanks. I think you covered it pretty well. The other thing about this project is that there's an economic benefit to the community. So we will have 30 residents each cohort. And what we know from the data that we have is that residents with interns tend to stay where they do their residence. And so we're anticipating that we'll see that as well. And I think that is also, given our current situation in healthcare, I think that's also a benefit to the community as well.
That's super. So just a quick question on that. You have been doing at least some residencies already. What's that number? And this is going to go to 30, I guess. So what's kind of how have you been dipping your toe in that right now?
Yeah, so our current cohort, I believe, is 6 residents. We started out, our first cohort was 3, and we've grown it steadily. But to Jeff's point, we're at a point where we're at capacity, and so we can't take any more interns. And with this current cohort, we weren't able to accommodate everybody who applied for our program. I'll also say that our program is the only certified residency program in the state of Oregon at this point. And so we feel like we are trailblazers to some degree.
Were there any other questions?
And just to add on to that, so we've trained or gone, the amount of providers that have gone through the program is 17, 85% are still working here in Southern Oregon. So that is a tremendous success in building out that workforce capacity that we'd like to build out and looking at the needs of the community. This is sorely needed. So we're trying to do our part in building out that workforce capacity, and with this additional space, we'll be able to, and I should say the additional money from the Rural Health Transformation Grant, we'll be actually getting more rotations out to rural areas, so Butte Falls, Cave Junction, really remote areas that need tremendous help in building out their medical teams.
John, did you?
Mayor and Council, I just wanted to acknowledge La Clinica real quick. On Monday, we had a special event here where Senator Wyden wanted to have a healthcare summit, and a bunch of protesters showed up. It was difficult for us to manage that in a public building, so they pivoted to La Clinica's building. The summit was held successfully as a surprise to them, but it came off well, and we just thanked them for their efforts to help out.
Yeah. Super. Yeah, I've got Jessica, then Nick, or Nick, then Jessica. You guys figure it out.
Thanks. Sorry if I missed this, but can you just remind everyone real quick what your current footprint is, how many clinics you have, and how many people you served last year?
So this last year, we have served 32,000 or just over 32,000 patients in Jackson County. We have 32 clinic sites. 20 of those are school-based health centers. So throughout the county, and some real, I think what the secret sauce for our federally qualified health centers, both La Clinica as well as Roe Community Health, is that we embed these clinics in the communities that we serve. And so really getting to know these neighborhoods, what the needs are of the community themselves, and again, knowing that there's not really a clinic of this capacity at all on the west side of Medford. This is an opportunity for growth, and when we see a unserved need, we want to jump on that. So,
Nick?
I just want to say thank you guys for what you do. I mean, I think you're probably, it's hard to say you're the most important healthcare system in Medford, but I don't think I'm far off. I mean, what you're able to do, like you said, how you have embedded yourself in the community, the kinds of service you provide. We know how important primary care is to overall health for people. The fact that you're able to provide that for so many people, the dividends that pays, sort of the silent dividends that pays to our community through the work that you guys do, especially now, we know how hard it is to find doctors. We know how hard that challenge is. And when you can't get a doctor's appointment, that's something that goes untreated and that turns into something else. So I just want to make sure that you guys, feel the appreciation, because for me, I think what we have, it's an incredible blessing for us to have La Clinica in our community doing the work that you guys do, and we're so lucky. And you serve in such a complementary role to, the incredible healthcare systems we have through like Asante and Providence, but to be able to support that other end, the primary care every day for the people who really need it most, thank you for being part of our community.
I've got Kevin, then John Quinn. We should have saved that for last, Nick. Kevin.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I'll echo what Nick said. It's a great organization. Really happy you're going to be in West Medford, and then I'm excited also about you moving up to Butte Falls and helping all of Southern Oregon. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's in partnership with Rowe Community Health, as well as when we're heading out to Cave Junction and those sites, that's Siskiyou Community Health that we're partnering with and expanding that rotation out to those rural sites.
I just wanted to thank Jeff for inviting me down to the Phoenix Center to meet the 6 residents you have right now. They were all awesome. It was a good meeting. I appreciate that. I'm sorry you're at capacity. We need to increase your capacity. This is very much a no-brainer for Medford. This is not hard. We need to support La Clinica in this program. These were excellent, enthused, skilled people, most of whom were planning to stay in the area. And we need to get behind this 110%, period. And he also had the good sense to pick the best ward.
Well, super. Well, thank you guys for coming and sharing all that, and more to come.
Great, thank you.
Moving on to oral requests and communications from the audience. This is the time that City Council sets aside 30 minutes for in-person public comment. Comments are limited to 2 minutes per person or organization. As outlined in the agenda, the public may also submit written comments to the council. Winnie, do we have any written comments to share?
Yes, Your Honor, we received one written comment from Esther Smith objecting to the recent Medford utility fee increases. There were no other written comments received for agenda item 40.
Okay. Are there any other, did anyone fill out a form? Okay. One chance. Did anyone that did not fill out a form wish to speak want to come down and speak? All right. Moving on to, I'm sure it's a minutes. It is. Approval or correction of the August 5th, 2026 meeting minutes. Everyone received these. Are there any corrections? Minutes will stand as submitted. We have no items on the consent calendar, and we will go straight to ordinances and resolution 80.1.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.1 is Council Bill 2026-54, an ordinance approving and authorizing execution of a consulting services contract in the amount of $18,769,555 to Westios Associates to perform engineering services during construction for the federally required upgrade to the Regional Water Reclamation Facility.
Okay. We have had multiple meetings and votes on this, but does anyone request the staff report for this? This is, and I'll just ask a quick question, this is essentially moving the consultant that we already have from engineering phase to construction phase. Is that
Correct. They have completed the preliminary engineering for the project, and now we are moving into construction, so they'll be completing all the construction services needed for the rest of the project for the next 5 years.
Prior to motion or after?
Either way, I'll make a motion first.
Okay. Oh, by the way, Johnny, sorry, but we've seen it.
I move to approve Council Bill 2026-54.
Second.
That's a motion by Mr. Card, second by Mr. Kernlinger. Nick, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, please. This is a huge contract. It's not very often that we see $18 million come across our desk for something that we have to do, especially when it's a contract for a consultant. But when we look at what has got to happen with this wastewater treatment facility, this is overall a $300 million project. There's going to be a lot of other big contracts. 330, 300 plus. It hurts every time I hear the number. And so while I do not take any pleasure in the cost of this project, I am emboldened by the fact that what is going to happen when this thing is done will dramatically change the kind of capabilities that we have when it comes to how we manage our wastewater. And I think there's going to be a lot of really exciting things that will come in the future once this thing is done. First, of course, we got to get it built, we got to get it operational, and we got to make sure that we comply with our DEQ discharge permits. And so one step at a time.
Thank you. Mr. Kurlinger?
I think the very first council meeting I had agenda item to approve a $330-something million contract. So this feels not so bad. No, I mean, it's a big contract, but it was budgeted, it was anticipated, it's part of what we have to do to keep wastewater open. So again, I don't spend $19 million flippantly, but this is part of what we've been working towards for years now, so.
Okay. Does Kevin have one, or is he just leaving that on?
Apologize.
John?
Apropos of actually the public comment we got about the increased rates, not the vast majority, but a very large part of that is because we were mandated to spend this money to improve our water treatment plant. This is not something we, as a council, decided to do for fun, to spend everyone's money. This was required, and frankly, if we hadn't gotten ahead of it and dealt with it, and it would have been a lot more expensive. So even though it's a shocking amount of money, it's a stitch in time that could have been possibly double if we hadn't jumped on it. So the rate increase is bad. I don't enjoy it myself, but we don't have a choice. And this contract is $18 million, and we don't enjoy that, but we don't have a choice. And so we're doing it as efficiently as we possibly can and conserving everyone's money. No one likes it any more than anyone else does.
Anyone else? Winnie, will you call roll, please?
Nick Card,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
and Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
All right, motion passes. 80.2.
Thank you, Your Honor. Item 80.2 is Council Bill 2026-55, an ordinance ratifying the settlement agreement for a lawsuit brought by Troy Hamilton for injuries related to a motor vehicle crash.
Kid, are you prepared to speak to this?
I'm prepared
Can you
to
at
speak to
least give the background a little bit?
Mayor and Council, Eric Minton, your city attorney. This is a motor vehicle accident that occurred in the winter of 2024. Mr. Hamilton was a passenger in his wife's vehicle crossing over the McAndrews Bridge. There had been another crash earlier that same day on the bridge. Mr. Hamilton received significant injuries from that crash. This is, without trying the entire case up here, which would take more than a couple minutes, this is not just a case of there was bad weather and someone lost control, so they're suing the cities. There were, because of the multiple separate crashes and the city's response after the first crash, there were some questions that the plaintiff's attorneys raised about what happened between the two crashes that are some unique and specific facts to this case that make it very different than your typical sliding out on a cold morning sort of crash. This is not a settlement where we're admitting any liability. We don't feel that there was any liability, but this is also a case that if he took to trial, he had very significant injuries, and we're rolling the dice on a much larger number. So this is a compromise settlement of a known amount to reduce the possibility of a much larger amount if it goes to trial. There are multiple different defendants who are involved in this settlement. We're the only public party defendant. The settlement with the private entities are confidential, but we are not the only party involved by any means in terms of putting together a financial package for Mr. Hamilton and his injuries. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, questions? Motion?
I move to approve Council Bill 2026-55.
Second.
So moved by Garrett, seconded by Mike. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Yeah, I think this has very unique and specific circumstances, as Mr. Mitten said, which is why I'm in favor of passing this ordinance. And I did want to express that the city does wish Mr. Hamilton all the best.
Mr. Quinn?
I'm in the same line of work as Mr. Mitten, and I've done a few of these myself, and he did a very, very good job. We're doing a lot better than we could. This was well done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Winnie, will you call roll, please?
Garrett West,
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
and Kevin Keating.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
That motion passes. Moving on to agenda item 90, public hearings. But before beginning the public hearing, I'd like to remind everyone that the rules of decorum that I would have spoken to during public comment are still in effect. You can, violation of the decorum policy that I'm keeping secret at this point in time may result in your removal from the chambers. This evening, we have a legislative hearing. If you would like to speak during this hearing, please complete a blue public comment form to be called forward. Comments for administrative or legislative hearings are limited to 4 minutes per individual or organization. Item 90.1, Mr. Mitten?
Your Honor, item 90.1 is Council Bill 2026-56, an ordinance amending section 10.140 of the Medford Municipal Code to allow special meetings to be held for appeals of land use actions.
All right, staff report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good evening, councilors. I am Kelly Aiken with your Planning Department. Have just a very brief report for you this evening on code amendment regarding appeal procedures. Okay. That works. That doesn't work.
Where's our new IT director?
Yeah.
He's
up there.
Okay.
Yeah. The arrows will.
Okay, got it. Thank you. All right. It's not my first time here. You'd think I'd know better. All right, so proposed code amendment. It affects only just this section in Chapter 10, it's 10.140 subsection 2B. As you mentioned, this is a type 4 legislative decision. Planning Commission did forward a favorable recommendation to you at their July 23rd meeting, and this is, City Council is the approving authority for this code amendment. The approval criteria are found in Land Development Code Section 10.218. They've been analyzed in your staff report and have been found to be satisfied or not applicable in this particular matter. So this came about as a result, you'll recall, of the Mountaintop application where we exceeded the 120-day mandatory processing timeline. Manager Weil had produced an after-action report, and this was one of the recommendations, was to allow for a special meeting where the code does not currently allow that to happen. What the code does require is that appeal hearings be held at the next regular city council meeting not less than 14 days from the date that the appeal is filed. So pretty rigid, so this addition will allow some flexibility there. On your screen is actually this year's planning department calendar. We're pretty busy. We actually had an instance this year where we had back-to-back holidays. So our Site Plan and Architectural Commission, there was a 6-week gap between meetings, which would interfere with our 120-day rule. We actually did end up having a special meeting so we could continue to process our application. So this code amendment would allow us to have a special meeting if we needed to for an appeal. So a simple addition would be to just allow an appropriately noticed special meeting. One of the questions we had at Planning Commission is, how do we know when we would need one? Well, we'd be keeping track of the 120-day clock and then looking at our department calendar to find out when your regular meetings are. So that's all that I had. Staff is recommending approval.
So not necessarily a question on the revision, but back to your point about the time. We've also had policy where leaving the, kind of the counting the days up to the applicant, and we're also perhaps looking at revising that. In other words, saying we have X amount of days. I see John Vile ready, or no.
That's correct. So the statute allows two different paths. So we can either leave the record open or continue the public hearing. If we leave the record open, it ends up being like almost a 30-day gap. And so if the applicant isn't going to extend the 120-day clock, then we would just continue to the next meeting, which is actually staff's preference, and I think the commission's preferences as well. It's a lot easier to manage.
Mr. Mitten, do you want to follow up?
I was just going to say that the report that Mr. Vile provided in terms of various steps we were doing, I believe all have been implemented besides this. This was the one thing that required a council action. Everything else, as I've seen, is already up and in place and running as we speak.
So some of the other items that don't require a code change that we identified are being done.
Those have already been implemented by staff.
Mr. Vile?
Just to refresh council's memory, provide clear notice at the planning commission of the pending 120-day limit. That wasn't something we were doing in the past. We do that now. Public request the applicant to toll the 120-day limit. We're doing that now in the meeting if that's needed. When additional, and then the one you just noted, when additional time is requested to continue it instead of leaving the record open. So all those things have been implemented except this one, which requires your approval.
Great, super, thank you. Question of staff, Mr. Keating.
Yeah, hey, just curious why the word appropriately seems a little vague. Is that on purpose or?
Appropriately noticed?
Yeah.
No, that's because there are noticing requirements. So we just want to make sure that they're noticed as they should be.
So we have the same notice requirements as all the other public meetings?
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions? All right, thank you. What? Oh, sorry, John.
First, Kelly, the fact that he read the decorum when you stood up, you really shouldn't take those things as going together.
Never offended here.
Okay. And I think this is definitely part of our effort to have more flexibility in the calendar, but the reason the mountaintop thing happened is because the petitioner's attorney, who was an able counsel, left the public hearing open and didn't mind the 120 days. So again, there's no falling on any swords, but we're just trying to make sure that these things can't happen in the future, whoever's fault they may be.
Correct.
Awesome.
As best we can.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further questions, at this point I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone present tonight that filled out a comment card? One more kind of open call. Anybody want to comment on this? All right, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I move to approve Council Bill 2026-56.
Second.
So I have Curlinger and West. Anything to speak to the motion, Mike?
No.
Garrett?
I wanted to thank staff on their work on this. Really appreciate it. And I'm giving the presentation at the Land Use Conference in December, and I'm going to be recommending that all the cities adopt something along these lines.
Super. All right, Winnie, will you call the roll?
Mike Curlinger,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
John Quinn,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
and Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
We have 7 yes.
All right, motion passes. Council business. I have no proclamations tonight, and we'll turn it over to Vice President West for this one.
Council officers update. So there were some questions from some of our food truck vendors in town about business licensing and how easy it is to move from location to location. So we got a brief update from staff that food trucks in town only need one license, a business license. And while they do need to have a site plan given to staff for confirmation, they can give multiple site plans to staff for free, so they can go to different places around town. And checking with staff, it seems like a very easy process. They can just take it to the counter to get those stamped approved. For the council email processing, this is a reminder that if a member of the public sends an email directed to you, but they send it to mayor and council, staff's going to forward that to you and ask, what do you want to do with that? please respond to staff with some directions and don't just leave them hanging. And you can respond to the members of the public, of course, yourself, but just check in with staff because they're going to want to know what's going on. Kind of update more on the Christmas tree issue in Pear Blossom Park. We went over that. I have heard from KJ Johnson that Santa Claus might be involved in a replanting of a tree. So just hold on to that one. And then Mr. Mitten is going to give a brief update from some legal things.
So can I cut you off just real quick? Just because one of the things is that on the email policy, staff has a 3-day deadline. So if you don't tell them what to do, they will at least do something. Sorry.
That's fine. The one other thing we addressed is the lowering, commonly known as the old Ramada. There had been some hopes that there might be some movement in terms of change of ownership and something happening with that. Without going into details in a public meeting, that's looking less hopeful right now. And so the city is looking into potential options in terms of eminent domain and what that could look like. Obviously, that would require council action, but what we're just going to start doing is running some numbers so we can actually talk about it in a meaningful, practical way and give you useful information as to whether or not it's an option you want to look at. This is something we've already addressed, Sean, with the owner in terms of a potential option if the situation doesn't improve, so that's not a secret. But I just wanted to let folks know that that's something we'll be looking into, getting some numbers and coming back to you.
Is he paying, or is the owner paying any kind of penalties daily for any of this?
We've issued more penalties on this property than, to my knowledge, any other property in the city of Medford. We have issued tens of thousands of dollars of penalties related to the ongoing situation of the property.
Have we discussed with the county the past due taxes?
I don't know off the top of my head. There's multiple different staff members involved. I can look into that issue.
That's the end of my council officer's update.
What? Oh, no.
You're going to do...
I'm going to take over as council president.
Sorry.
Thank you, Garrett, for covering for me. Council Quinn and I were doing a little class at Golden Rule Reentry this afternoon, and some of those guests are in audience today. Thank you for attending our meeting.
You were doing the class?
We were giving the class.
Oh, okay.
What does that mean? Doing?
Are you
Giving?
taking the class or are you teaching the class?
Well, I mean, I can always learn new stuff. So then I wanted to flip it over to any committee or commission reports that we might have. Do you have one? I have one. Oh, Curlier.
We had, for the Housing and Community Development, HCDC, meeting last week, we did the CAPER review, which is the Consolidated Annual Performance something. I'm looking like seeing, am I getting a nod, a shaking, throwing stuff at me? It was positive. It generally went over very well. There was some issues with just some of the timeliness and hitting some of the goals on projects, but they're larger projects, so we knew that the immediate return was not going to be during this calendar year. So overall, a very positive review. We have also already had 2 Economic Improvement District Commission meetings, with our 3rd coming up tomorrow. So they're really hitting the ground running, looking at budgeting, where that can be allocated, how it's going to be spent, what's going to have the biggest impact on downtown that's going to be actually noticeable. So our first meeting, we just talked about some different priorities for the activities, what do they want to focus on. And I did want to comment, like the group of stakeholders we have on that commission is really solid mix of different industries and different perceptions. Obviously, they're all in the district, but it's not like we have just bar owners or just restaurant owners or just retail owners. It's a really good mix of users of downtown. And our second meeting was getting a little bit into probably some of the weeds on what are some of the projects that they want to tackle with the EID fund. So I think tomorrow's meeting is going to be trying to narrow down that list and figuring out, we have this district now, we have a budget to work with. what are we going to do that's going to have the biggest impact downtown? So it's been really busy right off the bat, but it's because we have a group who's wants to do stuff and not just have a title.
Okay, I had 2 meetings. One was Southern Oregon Regional Economic Development. Big part of the meeting was hearing from La Clinica, who you heard from today about the new facility. So that's great. And then we also talked a lot about, there was a survey that came out a while back from So Ready. I don't know how many people participated in it, but it was an economic needs analysis. And a lot of data came out of that. And then one of our local businesses in Ashland, Worksharp, sponsored putting together formal packet brochures, really pretty, giving those results of those. And so council will be receiving copies of those when they're available. John, I don't know if those have come across yet from So Ready or not.
Not yet.
Okay. And I think Blair's going to be presenting next month, perhaps. So
Yes, he is.
yeah, so maybe that's when those will show up, so everybody will get a chance to review that data, which we're also going to leverage at the state level with the Prosperity Council. Lots of good community feedback in there. Other than that, I think it was largely uneventful unless John has anything to add. But I do have to say that Annie Jenkins from the Downtown Medford Association was there, and she gave a huge shout out to the city council for our round of city council initiative funds on that. So that was great, really good. And then Nick and I yesterday attended the Budget Stabilization Committee. We're still looking at several options for, revenue generation and expense reduction. Just a few highlights. We are still exploring options for changing the utility fee, residential versus commercial, public safety utility fee, as residential has been carrying that burden for a long time. And so we're looking at different methodologies that would make sense to spread that out a little bit more equitably. And after some additional analysis, that will be coming to council for review. We're still looking into the option of self-funded insurance, but a lot of work left to do on that. We are looking at different ways of allocating the commercial excise tax. And then we also, to note, have some additional information coming in the next council briefing and subsequent study sessions about what our housing levels look like right now from a vacancy, affordability standpoint, so we can do a little bit more process on what we might need as a mix of housing and what we want to support. So, anything to add? Nick? No. Okay, Carlina?
I wasn't there. This has been talked about before, but I can't remember if it was in this forum. But you're talking about So Ready. The data dashboard that So Ready put together is freaking fantastic. So I just wanted to give a shout out because I've already nerded out on it a couple times. And if people aren't aware of it, just Google So Ready and go to the data dashboard.
Yeah, that's a great public benefit, and it's only going to get better. It's in its infancy stages, so a lot of additional information is going to continue to be added to that can be used by different industries, people looking to finance, people looking to move here. So yeah, it's really great. Thanks for noticing that. Anyone else? Okay. Oh. Z?
Yep. So, 2 things for me. The Oregon Mayors Association met in Ashland last week, and I attended that. It was great. Met quite a few new people, which is always good to have in the network, and had an opportunity to reinforce connections with other ones. They did a great job. We do have a kind of a standing Rogue Valley Mayors group that meets, so we all kind of pitched in a little bit on the goodie bags, and so we as the city of Medford had contributed some, but also Travel Medford, who was a partner, also helped with that to fill those up. Interestingly, someone from up north had an opportunity to speak in front of the group and took that opportunity to claim they were the ones that were from the #1 wine region in the United States. So I felt it was kind of interesting to find out not even top 2. Come on now. Whatevs. So But that was a good experience. There's also been what is a mayor's ad hoc group, which is where we're sitting down with a lot of the builders, developers, engineers, just essentially real estate construction professionals to sort of try to help find better efficiencies and how can we clearly, we want everyone following the rules, and we want a certain standard of product that then it comes out when we, as a community, agree to take it over and maintain it for its lifetime. But at the same time, can we make this simpler and easier? That meeting is going very positively. Kudos to staff, because oftentimes it can be easy. You might want to defend why you've been doing things, and that is certainly not the approach that they've taken at all. And I think that's really bridged a lot, because when we say, well, shoot, here's the downside to this, you've got that trust with the people that you're in the room with, and I'm real pleased at how well that's going. Committee report? Are we done? Mr. Stein, you have anything for the good?
I do. I have a motion. I move to direct staff to prepare a letter to the Medford Water Commission to be signed by the mayor, council officers, and the Water Commission liaisons on behalf of the Medford City Council to address issues related to notable concerns the council has identified. Oh, no one wants a letter. Okay.
I'll second that motion.
I do not understand the delay, but we'll see what happens. All right. Ready for this? The council has spent a considerable amount of time over the course of the last few years hearing of communication issues between the Medford Water Commission and the city proper. These issues have had a real impact of ensuring that the Medford Water Commission is moving in the same direction with the rest of us. Getting even the most simple items corrected, such as having the city recorder and treasurer involved within the organization, is unnecessarily laborious and outright ridiculous when it says those two positions must be integrated, as it says specifically in the City of Medford Charter. The relationship between the Medford Water leadership and the City of Medford is poor, to say the least, and clearly unacceptable. Efforts have been made to try to close the gap. The simplest solution was to give direction to our city manager with information to bring to the Medford Water Commission leadership. 3 different people have held the city manager role, and none have been able to break through. There are differences of opinion of the mayor and individual council members of how to move forward. Some are more aggressive towards the continued ability of the appointed current Medford Water Commissioners to serve, but where we stand today is sending a letter. With my motion, I have the following asks. 1, that those of the dais move quickly to find an acceptable letter encompassing the numerous discussions that mayor and council have had, to have the letter be more inclusive of the concerns that electeds have, to spend less time on wordsmithing and more on action, and understand that not all 4 members will agree. To the Medford Water Commissioners, we are more than grateful for the more than 100 people that we have serve on our boards and commissions. That volunteer work matters, and we couldn't do the work we are able to do to move Medford forward without that work. However, those that serve do so at the pleasure of the mayor and council. Removing anyone should be used rarely, but the option is available when necessary. If we do not get a positive response to adopting the issues on the letter, removal will be warranted. Take the letter as a directive and not a suggestion. Also, an aggressive timeline will be provided to acknowledge moving forward on these issues. If additional meetings must be held, then please do so. For our staff, please verify that all 5 commissioners received the letter, along with associated Medford Water Commission leadership. If warranted, please ensure all necessary staff from our side are available to work with the Medford Water Commission to change the way we're doing business so we can put this issue behind us.
We'll take discussion on this, I guess, to kick it off. This has been a festering issue. And when I came on, I think I egotistically assumed that I could bridge gaps. Maybe there had been feelings, whatever. At times, whether it's just personality or whatever drives that. And the situation has gotten worse. It is at a point where that's clearly a failure of my own leadership, my own ability to work and actually be that connector between council and other portions of the community. So I take that responsibility. I believe this is the correct step to take moving forward. What we have not done, we have been angry, we have expressed frustration, but not expressed, here's where this is not working for us and here is the correction that needs to be taken. So I believe this is the correct way to move forward. I think it demonstrates a greater leadership by the council than I have provided as mayor. Comments, discussion. Okay. Winnie, will you call the roll?
Sorry, I needed some room to process. In the course, I'm going to ask you to reread the motion before we vote on it, just so I make sure I remember it. But in the course of delivering a letter and follow through, what type of communication can we plan or expect or anticipate between us and the Water Commission? Because, hey, we have some concerns. That's been, I don't know exactly to whom or when or how that's been communicated, but I know something to that effect has been communicated, to publicly saying we're going to send you a letter articulating the things that need to be addressed, and then some period of time later, without further engagement or some back and forth to discuss specifics and results, to come back and either say, good job, you did it, or bad job, you didn't. I'm not comfortable with that. There needs to be some kind of dialogue between these two groups of people so we make sure we're understanding each other. So I'm just curious how that looks, if that needs to be included in the motion, if that can just be assumed that it'll happen because of the nature of what's needs to be done.
So I will just throw, whatever letter that goes out will have some sort of deadline for at least response and confirmation that is received, and that the commission understands as well the issues that are going on and the steps we need to take forward. From that on, it will be up to council to determine whether or not this is in good faith or not. I don't think you can completely set the dates and deadlines for some of the issues that we're dealing with, but you most certainly can that they also realize the issue. I think this is a group of reasonable, thoughtful people. I also believe that is a group of reasonable, thoughtful people, and we are completely on two different pages. I think to set a 6-week deadline for 4 years or 5 years of decay to be finished is going to be a struggle, but it's one of those, I do believe you'll know good faith when you see it. All right. Winnie, will you call the roll?
Let me, as requested, let me say again the motion. I move to direct staff to prepare a letter to the Medford Water Commission to be signed by the mayor, council officers, and the Water Commission liaisons on behalf of the Medford City Council to address issues related to notable concerns the council has identified. And briefly, to respond to others, to what you said, it is, the very last part, there might be things in the letter, some things will be easy, right? Some things will be difficult. And so that is where it's incumbent, one, the good faith, the good faith of like, okay, you asked for this. We are directing our general manager and his staff to move forward with this. Some things they might be able to do. Some things they might have to go to John and associated staff and be like, okay, well, here was the ask. How are we going to possibly do it? If we have these good faith efforts, great. I think the concern will be if they say we're going to do if there's 10 things, they say we're going to do 3 of them, then it's a concern council has to say of like, do we need to work and change things up? Or are we going to be fine with that? Everything it's incumbent on us to be kept abreast of what's happening and those good faith efforts. Anyone on council is free to contact any water commission member and have a dialogue of expectations, answer questions, find a method to say, you know what, there might be things that are unclear. Part of me thinks, our current liaison can help with that. If choose not to, our mayor is very committed to doing that as well. However that works from one of the elected bodies, I'm fine with that. Maybe it's the mayor or Garrett, whomever, that can help answer those questions. I think it's kind of what you were alluding to.
Mayor, I know you tried to call roll a couple times. Are you okay with this communication continuing, or do you want me to shut up? I understand the intent of the letter. I think some of this conversation predates my time on the council, so there's some history that I'm not personally involved with. Some of the concerns that have been raised, I do understand. And I guess I'll just say it bluntly. As far as I know, this body has had one formal meeting with the Water Commission to discuss potential concerns, at which time no one actually directly raised the concerns. I think I'm going to support the motion because at least something is finally getting definitively communicated. I think this manner of doing it doesn't feel completely fair to the commissioners that we are making this request of. If there's a problem, why have we not sat down and spoken with them about it face to face? That's what I don't like about this method. But if this gets something out in the open to start talking about, and we or I can have a conversation with someone from Water Commission and say, here's the thing, let's try to get on the same page, that's fine. But that's where we need to get. We need to get to having conversations directly with people, not having concerns or complaining and then sending letters.
I share some of your concerns. I think there have been conversations had, and what I do appreciate about this option is I think that it's a clear communication from not just one or two counselors, right? I mean, theoretically, this is a communication from a body to a body that could start that discussion rather than conversations here and conversations there that we're not all privy to, right? Which is why I support this method.
I have a question. So we're giving them 6 weeks to respond to the letter? Did I hear that correctly?
I don't know. The term 6 weeks came from, I don't think, 5 years of decay will be solved in 6 weeks. We can ask for a much more immediate response.
So when will they be coming? When will they be required to respond, or we take further action?
I would, if it were me, I'd give not the next meeting they have, but the meeting after that. I'd give them one meeting to discuss and one meeting to act.
And so that's my question. It's your motion, Kevin. Do you have anything to say about that?
I saw Mr. Vile have a hand up. I would like him to be recognized.
Sure, John.
So in anticipation of a vote in affirming the, supporting this motion, staff have drafted a letter. This is draft. The 4 people that have been assigned to review this letter and approve it have not seen this yet, but in that letter, we are asking them to provide a written response by September 18th. The 4 people that are going to be reviewing this letter can change that date, but staff is suggesting 1 month to prepare a written response. They probably can't fix everything, but give us a written response on how you're going to address each of a very detailed list of items that have been expressed as a concern.
And my second thing, I think, was a comment, but I guess it's become a question. What do we think about having them actually be required to appear at the next meeting after September 18th or whatever date is suggested to say, we passed this ordinance, this resolution, this thing, that thing, here they are, here's what we did?
So the 18th, that is the Wednesday, right? That's the morning Wednesday. I think it's wholly appropriate for a representative, whether it be a appointed member, if they can find an appointed member that's available at Wednesday at 6 o'clock. I think it's wholly appropriate if one of them were to come and give a brief. Is that kind of what you're looking for?
And if they've passed any ordinances pursuant to this or whatever, bring them and share and give us copies.
Based on what Mr. Vial said on that morning, because they have, afternoon, at their lunch meeting, they would, if they're following what we're directing them, they would have something that had been passed that morning to then provide to us that day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments? Winnie, will you call roll?
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Garrett West,
No.
Mike Kurlinger,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Well, I was going to say yes, but I'm interested to know what Mr. West's thoughts were if he was going to give them, so, but maybe it's too late. So I will say yes, but I certainly would like to be educated at some point.
Okay, so we have 6 yes and 1 no.
That advances.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
If I may, I have the letters that I'll hand out to the mayor, the council officers, and the liaison now, and we'd ask that you respond as quickly as you can so we can get this wrapped up.
Okay. That being said, Mr. Vial, I'll say that was your first part of the staff report. What's your second part?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can I, sorry.
Yes.
May I have the floor? This is a little bit related to what we just did and also related to other things that we have been doing. And I was just thinking about this. I've heard comments from council members about our meetings running longer. I've heard comments about, and things I see, right? At our last study session, I think it was like the 4th time, we saw that street configuration. We have, Main Street took a long time, and who knows if that'll occur. I bring this up just in terms of, I think we all kind of, in our outside political world, we kind of look at how long things take. Like, oh man, government takes a long time. Well, sometimes we are being the barrier of government and getting things done. And so having good debates, bringing up lots of issues is healthy, right? I would not ever ask anyone to not share their comments if it's relevant towards the topic at hand. I think collectively, and I am happy to include myself on this because I was kind of rethinking some of the things I've said in some of these meetings when we're having discussions. I think we need to get a little bit better at action and moving forward. Because I think sometimes we're hurting, like we have a very aggressive amount of things that we want to do as a city, right? We want to go do a lot of great things. We have basically a playbook of all the great things we want to do. And when we're spending a lot of time on some of these things are kind of minor. We're making it more difficult for our department heads to push on to the next thing. So whether anything changes or not, it's just something be a little more conscious of going forward. There is that old phrase, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. And there are times that we spend a lot of time looking at some of the minutia with the things that we're deciding on, and we're just pushing the calendar back. And I think overall it's stopping us in some ways from achieving some of our goals. So I want to point that out. I just, thinking about this issue, thinking about some other things that we've had, moving forward a little bit quicker is going to be to the benefit of all. Thank you.
Anyone else for the good of the order? All right. Accurate points. And this is a tougher issue to go through. I do appreciate this body being maybe more deliberative. There's certainly quicker, faster, easier solutions that could go here. I just I think in this one we're doing the right way. Which I'm not saying that you're talking about this specific, but the idea of we are not advancing things fast enough is something I think I can take to heart and appreciate that. So, with that said, meeting is adjourned at 7:30. And Mira.
What are we doing now? We're doing Mira here. 2026 meeting of the Medford Urban Renewal Board will now come to order at time 7:40. Winnie, roll call.
Jessica Ayers. Here. Nick Card.
Here.
Kevin Keating. Mike Kurlinger.
Here.
John Quinn.
Here.
Zach Smith. Kevin Stein.
Here.
Garrett West.
Here.
And Mayor Zarazinski.
Here.
We have 8 present.
Thank you very much. Approval correction of the last meeting's minutes. Seeing none, stands approved. All requesting communications. Winnie.
There were no public comments received.
Anyone here to speak? Nope, no one here to speak. Consent calendar, none. Public hearings, none. Resolutions.
Chair, I believe there was somebody at the microphone when you said anyone here to
Well,
speak.
were you on my agenda? You are not on my agenda.
I can't make an oral comment.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President and Mira Board. I would just like to note that Mr. Weiss has been a faithful and a hard worker that has done a lot for the city of Medford. He had his official retirement activities here when he officially retired, but he's been continuing to work for the city. This will be his last meeting with us, and so I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Mr. Weiss for his years of service and all he has accomplished for the city of Medford in his time here. So thank you, Harry.
Thank you very much. The best and worst oral communication we have had. Yes.
Will you entertain a motion to not allow Harry to leave?
Second.
We do not have a police officer from what I can tell, so we
Deputize me.
Why was I not invited to this retirement party?
2 years ago.
All right, thank you. So moving on to resolutions. 4 resolutions for consideration tonight. Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Chair. Item 70.1 is Resolution 2026-010, resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of a grant agreement between the Medford Urban Renewal Agency and Kids Unlimited concerning capital improvements at 705 to 717 North Riverside Avenue and 712 Pine Street.
All right, this has been discussed previously. Does anyone need to hear more? I do not see any staff report, or not staff report. Motion.
What's the number? I don't have it
I
in
move
front
to
of me.
approve Resolution 2026-10.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Mr. Card. Discussion? Seeing none.
Garrett West.
Yes.
Nick Card.
Yes.
Jessica Ayers.
Yes.
Mike Kurlinger.
Yes.
Kevin Stein.
Yes.
Mayor Zarazinski. John Quinn.
Yes.
And Kevin Keating.
Yes.
We have 8 yes.
Thank you. We'll do staff report for Resolution 2026 TAC 011.
Thank you, Chair. This one is Resolution 2026-011, a resolution approving and authorizing execution of a First Amendment option agreement and agreement of purchase and sale between Medford Urban Renewal Agency and Stewardship Development, LLC.
You get a staff report on this one, please.
Yes, this is another follow-up on your previous action. Last meeting, you all authorized a property line adjustment, adjusting the parcel boundaries between the property with the warehouse at Central Avenue and the property that we're going to convey to Stewardship Development for the apartment complex. And this memorializes the change in the description of the property that's being conveyed, and additional features being that we will relocate the utilities that are currently placed under the future building location. It provides for grant of cross-access easements and the right to lease a portion of the property of the warehouse to put a little outdoor space and some parking on it. So it's pretty much what we had talked about in terms of the reset of the transaction, the conveyance of property, and it just memorializes that. Stewardship has already signed the agreement. They reviewed it, and they were fine with what we had proposed.
And so as it stands with their organization, they're on the list through the state to receive
Correct.
funding.
They have been through the impact assessment stage of the ORCA process, so they are now on the official list, working their way up towards the future payoff when they hit the pot of money at the end of the rainbow, and they get their funding for 4% LIHTC and LIFT.
And is there Is that like a publicly accessible list? Is that something that just people know if they're on the list?
Oh, no, I can send you the list. I can send you the link. It's, if you just go on OHCS and go to the ORCA process, it'll tell you the status of all the approved projects and all other projects that have applied but have not yet been approved.
Interesting. Okay. Any comments on this? Yes, Mr. Collinger.
Just remind me, Harry, because I think this was part of our last discussion, but these changes as far as slightly adjusting the property and moving the utilities, these were triggered by the concept stewardship is working with right now.
Right, the site plan that they proposed.
But in our discussion, we kind of decided this is beneficial for this location.
Oh, absolutely.
And for almost any other use. If stewardship never makes it to the finish line and we audible to something else, this is still a positive step for that property,
Right.
for any development
This
potential.
is very similar to what we did at La Fiesta, where we had a pipe going down the middle of the site that divided it in two. Moving the pipes over gives us a clear space for the entire frontage on Central Avenue for whatever development happens there.
Great, thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, motion please.
I move to approve Resolution 2026-011.
Second.
Seconded by Mira Board Member Ayers. Any comments? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mike Krueger,
Yes.
Jessica Ayers,
Yes.
Kevin Keating,
Yes.
Nick Card,
Yes.
Kevin Stein,
Yes.
Mayor Zarazinski,
Yes.
Garrett West,
Yes.
and John Quinn.
Yes.
We have 8 yes.
Thank you very much. Next one, Mr. Mitten.
Thank you, Chair. 70.3 is Resolution 2026-012, a resolution approving the allocation of $35,000 for capital improvements to implement the Alba Truck Food Truck Pilot Project and authorizing preparation and execution of an intergovernmental agreement between Medford Urban Renewal Agency and the City of Medford Parks, Recreation, and Facilities Department implementing the improvements.
Thank you. So just for some background, this, I believe, Mr. Quinn, in his role as a city councilor, brought this forward. The city council decided that this would be a great project for Mira, and it's pretty simplistic, just putting some utilities in there to help out. So are there any questions? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
I had reached out to Michelle. She had sent the site plan. It looks like this is one space.
Two spaces.
Back to back on one side of the walkway.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's 2 spaces on one side of the walkway, and they're kind of end to end.
Awesome. I saw another hand. Mr. Curlinger.
We've had different discussions about Alba, so this is just for utilities. This isn't we had a concept with some pads and something more.
Mr. Rosenthal is here to
structured.
provide some background.
Board member, the cost is substantially for the concrete associated with widening the sidewalk for 2 food truck pads and installation of water connection and electrical that those food trucks would need on the southwest side, directly across the street here from City Hall.
I don't know what the southwest side of the park is.
Next to Malolo's, right? Is it
No,
Malolo?
opposite. It's the side of the park closest to City Hall.
Okay.
In Medford, Oregon.
Does anyone recall who were the food trucks that had been a part of the original conversation who had said?
I was in the meetings. I can't remember who the food trucks were by name. There were 3 or 4 represented at that meeting.
Do they rotate out, kind of like they do at other facilities, or?
The methodology hasn't been decided on. Our department has quite a bit of experience with working with food trucks for at the Rogex and within the system and at Alba Park in the past. So this is for the infrastructure. We haven't gotten to that point of exactly how it would work. I think there would be a public process and it would be an opportunity for whatever food truck wants to be part of this opportunity. They would have that chance.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. Any other questions?
So-
Oh,
No,
there is a question.
I'm still figuring out what southwest corner is.
No,
It's
closest
8th
to
and-
us.
It's 8th and Ivy.
So, yes?
Go ahead.
If this is, I mean, essentially, look, we can widen this out. It'll look fine regardless of whether or not. So I do appreciate the fact that it doesn't really have to be a food truck pad. But I guess the big question is do we think, we do have interest in doing this if we put it in?
Yes, the focus group that Warren convened, it was clear that this is a great spot.
And additionally, Your Honor, there was two parties that said, we'll do this. The other said, hey, yeah, we'll look at it, but there was two parties that said, yeah, we are very interested and we want to do it right now. That's why the two pads.
I see Mr. Card's hand up.
So, remind me, do we have bathroom facilities in Alba Park?
No.
We don't. We do have some tables, though, right?
Yes, there's a picnic pavilion.
Okay. And so would there be, so what, isn't there a requirement for food trucks to have bathrooms? Isn't that something that's in our code?
We were going to add it.
Mr. Minton?
There is a requirement that when food trucks are there, that there be restrooms available nearby. If these food trucks are operating during lunch, City Hall is a public building with restrooms, so that could meet the requirement under our code.
There we go.
All right. I just wanted to make sure we aren't spending a bunch of money and then going, wait a second.
Actually, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Are we still working on those food truck code updates that we talked about doing a while ago? Did those come around? Did I miss it, that we approved those? Because we talked about it quite a while ago.
One of the things we talked about a year ago was what we talked about in council officers today. Councilmember Killinger brought up the question about having a food truck and being able to have more than one location. So last year we changed the requirement. If you have a food truck and you want to go to more than one location, you don't have to pay the fee twice. You just have to come and have your second location verified that it's acceptable for a food truck, meaning that it meets all the requirements of our code.
Mr. Minton for the rebuttal.
No, not that. I wanted to correct myself because I made a comment about restrooms. I believe that was for permanent and semi-permanent pods. If these are considered daily trucks, I don't think that
That's
restroom
correct.
requirement applies.
Mr. Curlinger.
So can... Not done.
Then put your hand down.
So, but everybody remembers that we were going to redo these food truck codes, right?
Yeah.
And did we do that?
I would have to go back and look.
Okay.
What I remember being an issue is we had complaints that people had to get more than one business license.
Okay.
And that was burdensome, so we stopped that process.
Well, I think the issue came about, and we don't really have to beat this dead horse right now, but right. But we had all those issues with those food trucks that were not transient. They were just like setting up shop, and so we were expanding our code around that to require things like bathrooms and maybe either that they had to move or they were going to be counted as something else. Does nobody else remember this? Did this? Okay.
We've had three pretty ongoing code complaints, and we've worked through those three groups to come up with solutions for them.
But we never
didn't redo the code.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, could we just get confirmation that
We can go back.
that's all
and look.
done? Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
So could any truck with a current business license, I mean, however we do the reservations, whatever, right? They could say, hey, I want to go post up at Alba. And as long as they've got a business license,
Right.
this is automatically approved for that usage.
Exactly, and Parks does that already at Rogex, so they have a setup program where they just need a business license, and then they apply through Rogex, and they're able to be there anytime that they've got a time set.
All right. Are we good with, are we ready for motion, or you got a question?
I just have one more quick
Go ahead.
question. There's a pad similar to what you seem to be describing across from the library, I believe, and there used to be the hot dog guy that would be there. Is that not being used anymore, or is it not officially a pad?
It's at the corner of 8th and, what is that? 8th
Central?
and Central?
Yeah.
It's kitty corner from the Criterion.
Yeah. But nobody's using it. Is it still a pad?
You know, I did find a brochure where there are city-sponsored food truck locations, and I think that was one. I think there were like 6 downtown that were part of a program, and I can find out if there is interest in putting that back up for people to use.
I'm just curious about the demand. I mean, if
Yeah.
that one's not being used, are these going to be used? And
Yeah,
it's gonna
it seems like there's demand, and maybe it's just a communication thing.
Okay. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to approve Resolution 2026-012.
Seconded by Mr. Keating. Any discussion? Oh, there is a discussion. Yes.
There was a concept that was proposed on this. I mean, certainly much more robust and bigger, and I think taking this in the pilot project stage makes sense. What was interesting to me when I did my unscientific random polling of people saying, what do you think about this? I got a lot of positive feedback about the idea of doing this. Now, I think, again, what was pictured in their mind is certainly more robust than what we have here, but I think this is a good start. I also hear a lot about people saying we don't use this park enough anymore. So it's nice to see that going on as well. And so we'll support the motion.
Thank you. Is anyone against this? Okay, great. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Please say nay. Okay, great. Next.
Thank you, Chair. Item 70.4, Resolution 2026-013, a resolution approving a grant in the amount not to exceed $45,806.50 to West of the Rockies Development LLC for reimbursement of fire safety sprinkler system installation expenses at the U.S. Bank Building, 131 East Main Street, Medford, Oregon.
All right. This will be the final ordinance.
Yes.
Nope, the final resolution
that I have prepared for you.
that
Digestion.
Harry will do for the city.
So it's been a while since we've had a sprinkler grant application come in, because I think the last one was a small residential conversion up on Holly Street. So it's been at least a year and a half since we've seen one of these. As you all are aware, West of the Rockies Development purchased the U.S. Bank Building recently at the end of last month, and they are now engaged in doing a renovation of the building on the ground floor to house the offices of the bank for their wealth management and their lobby, and then they're going to be developing a separate commercial space on the front corner and the entire second floor. Because the building is going to multi-tenant, it triggers the requirement to have a sprinkler system. Luckily, this building already had sprinkler service to the site. There's a really sizable service that comes into the basement, but it was never, riser was never put in and it was never brought up to the upper floors. So this project is to put in the riser and do the first floor. The second floor is not quite ready. The plans aren't sure about that. But just to get this to the first floor covered is just shy of $91,000. And the maximum that we do for a grant is half of the cost of doing a project. So that's why it's $45,000. We only do up to 50 on a sprinkler grant for any project anyway. So the future phase of the second floor will be later, but will not be eligible for a subsequent sprinkler grant. But they're moving ahead with the demising walls and getting this all teed up and ready to go. This is also going to come back to you as council. As you all are aware, there's a question about encroachments into the right-of-way that were built in 1965 that have never been fully resolved. That's a council issue, not a MERA issue. But this is not the first you will see of this particular property and the redevelopment of it. I'll happy to answer any questions.
Is there any questions? Mr. Curlinger.
Yeah, you just said the future phases won't be eligible for grant funds?
Well, the way the sprinkler grant program is set up right now is when somebody's doing a rehabilitation, we will grant up to $50,000 at 50%, a dollar-for-dollar match of the cost of the sprinkler system. Anything over $100,000 is on them. So you all have capped the sprinkler support at $50,000 of MERA contribution.
Sorry, I anchored to the 50%. I missed the 50,000. Thank you.
I don't see any other hands. Can we get a motion, please?
Move to approve Resolution 2026-013.
Second.
Moved and then seconded by Mr. Card. Don't see anyone that wants to talk. Oh, there we go.
I love this program. This thing started off as the seismic upgrade grant that never got used, and then, had the bright idea to do the sprinklers, and I think we had talked about doing electrical upgrades as well, and I don't recall if that ever made it in here. I would just tell you that it's great because that means that buildings are being repurposed, private money's coming in, and we're helping out, and so it's right up my alley, and I will support the motion.
Mr. Card.
Something that I really like about this one is that, to just sort of expound a little bit on what Mike said, is we are helping this building, which is owned commercially, which means this is a building that pays property taxes, and we are helping it be more useful to generate more property taxes, so it's more valuable for the community, so it's doing more for the community, and it's paying more property taxes for the community. So this is exactly where I think Mira shines, and I agree with Mike. I love this program. That's it.
Wow.
It also It also puts the fire department in the building for public safety.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
good too.
And makes the building all the more economically resilient for the future.
But taxes vary.
Yeah.
Wow, sounds like we have a very enthusiastic vote from Mr. Card, and I think we'll have 7 more votes. So all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. All right.
Thank you, Harry.
This says business board.
Business board.
I see business board on my thing. I think
Business?
Yeah.
I do want to go over one more thing with you.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, in front of you, I've given you the most recent printout of the capital tracker. I just wanted to touch on a couple things to show you what the updates were. This reflects all of the recent grant approvals that you have made, so the 415 to KU, the 120 for the sidewalks. It also includes tonight's $35,000 for Alba Park and the sprinkler grant. One area that's highlighted in blue is the hotel expenditures for the Element. We've reorganized that to make it a little bit more condensed. I used to have it all itemized, and y'all just need to see the summary. I actually discovered, much to my chagrin, that I had double counted a couple of those expenses. So we wound up with some extra money in our in the disposable cash, even after these additional grants that you have already approved. So this is the most recent update. You've got about a 1.1 million of unallocated cash, holding 1.775 in reserve. And at the bottom of that list, I also noted there are a couple of other funding requests that are going to be coming your way. Most importantly, the Southern Oregon Historical Society renovation that was also referred from CCIF. They'll be coming to you in a future study session to tell you about that project. So I just put that on the bottom of the list so that you would have a little bit of a prediction about what you could be asked in the future. And the final thing I wanted to tell you is that I'm glad to be able to leave on this evening and know that my sartorial qualities with my beard have been picked up by Ryan Martin. He's got a little ways to go, right, to be able to fill the shoes, but I'm very, very proud of the fact that he is now a bearded employee of the city of Medford.
Are we clapping for Ryan's beard?
Yeah, that's for Ryan's beard. Do you have any questions on the tracker?
Seeing none.
We will have more to discuss in the study session right away.
Awesome. Director and staff reports.
That's it for me.
Okay. Propositions, remarks from board members. Mr. Curlinger.
Yeah, Harry, I just want to say, coming in, though, your introduction to Mura, I came in knowing that Mura existed. Probably couldn't even have articulated what a TIF was. Your introduction to Mura and the way you handle all these moving projects and all of our idiosyncrasies has been phenomenal. This is a huge loss for us as a group. I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
Kind of. I'm really excited for you, but thank you. Like, your crash course, getting us set up on this was phenomenal, and I would not be able to participate in this the way I do if it wasn't for you.
Well, I will make one comment that, I don't know that everybody understands when they run for city council, they're running for the Mura board at the same time.
I did not know that.
Can be a little bit of a shock to say, there's another thing that I do. So for those of you who are going to be mentoring, if you have new members coming to council this fall or in January, you can tell them, guess what? You signed up for more than you thought you were signing up for.
Awesome. Any other propositions or remarks from board members? Seeing none, I'll echo some of the other comments. I mean, you can just drive around downtown and see the things that Harry has put together, those relationships being built, that, finding ways to use the private money or the public money that we have with the public money and get projects off the ground. I mean, that's the big purpose of Mura, and the fact that there's been successes and will continue to be successes based on your leadership, the way you just know how to do these things. It's not replaceable per se. We're going to have a big gap with the loss of you moving on and not spending time at 8 o'clock at Medford City Hall. So I greatly appreciate it. I don't BS about these things. Like I truly believe it, and so it's been a pleasure knowing you, and best to you.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that coming from the longest-serving member of the Mura Board of Directors.
All right. With that, at time 8:07, we are adjourned. We are moving over to the Medford room for the study session promptly.